The Chicago Bears are not playing any games. They don't need to see anything. They've gotten one little taste of rookie minicamp, and they didn't even get through the first practice, I don't think. And Caleb Williams has been named the starter.
Yep.
So if you're looking for an updated quarterback depth chart, don't worry. It's going to see Caleb Williams number 1, and then they'll figure out everything else after that. Probably Tyson Bagent too. But nonetheless, Caleb Williams is your starter. Don't need to see him compete for it like we've heard from Gerard Mayo and some others talk about quarterbacks coming in. He's got the start. He's going to be their quarterback. And I don't see why anybody would have an issue with it, but I'm sure somebody will have a problem with it. It would be
no, I don't think so. I think the difference, too, when you look at the various rosters with rookie quarterbacks on them, they've got veterans there who've played one games, have started games in the NFL. Jacoby Brissett's there in New England. Sam Darnold's in Minnesota. You kind of go through the list of teams.
That's the point.
And yeah, it's more of a cultural deal within their locker room, is making sure that it feels like it's earned. In this case, they're all set up, being the team with the number 1 overall pick, for him to play and play right away. And he's probably, one of the quarterbacks that you'd say is most ready, given his experience, his play, and I think how he'll be able to transition into the NFL. So there was no reason to wait anyway. It's not like you've got concerns about maybe his mechanics or development. You feel pretty good about where he's at. That's why he was the number 1 overall pick. Some people call him a generational talent. I love this for this reason. He will get every single rep an opportunity to learn, to make mistakes before the live games matter. So you don't have to go through this charade of, we got to have him battle it out and split reps with some other. It's like, no, he's going to have every opportunity to be as prepared as you possibly could be for week 1. And I know we feel like with the more games, maybe it dilutes a little bit of what each game, how much it matters, but it matters. They all matter in the end. And the problem is when you get in quarterback competitions, and I've talked to you guys about my rookie year before, where like it was Charlie Fry and Derek Anderson and myself and Ken Dorsey on the roster. And as a rookie, like I wasn't getting many reps. It was basically they wanted me to sit, they wanted me to watch and learn. Then after Charlie Fry and Derek Anderson battling this out for the entirety of OTA's minicamp and training camp, they literally benched Charlie Fry and traded him after week 1. And the first thought in my head was, well, wasn't that a waste of time? Like that's where you look at the idea of it's a competition. It's not a competition. You drafted the guy, you signed him to a contract. Like it's a business. It's very different. And then the quarterback position is very different, as we just touched on the quarterback room and how unique it can be. So this makes a lot of sense. It probably would make more sense for a number of teams that have drafted a quarterback that high, probably with the exception of Michael Penix in Atlanta. If Kirk Cousins, is healthy and can go. Now, if he can't, different story. Then maybe you open up, depending on how Penix is looking in practice and everything else, if Cousins has some setbacks. But as things stand right now, like Bo Nix, you're up. There's really not any other option there. I guess you could say Zach Wilson or Jarrett Stidham, but, you start looking at these teams that drafted quarterbacks, with the exception of one, all these guys should be playing pretty much right away.
I mean, there are no other options in Chicago behind Caleb Williams. You had to start him for one. And I think just to add to the points that Q made, you're also looking at the factors that went into getting Caleb Williams. You got rid of your starter to bring him in. So the stakes are high. Why would you put your number 1 draft pick in, which you had so much drama play out as it applied to the position leading up to bringing him to the team? Why would you mess around with it? There's no reason to make him fight for the position at this point. There's no reason to prolong his development and say he needs to compete. He needs to be what you guys think he's going to be in Chicago for the Chicago team to have a chance to be competitive.
They're all tied to his success.
100%.
Everybody there.
100%. So why mess around with it? There's no reason to play no games with it. Why play around with it?
So why do other teams do that then? Why don't other teams
I
take
think it's
this approach?
culturally speaking, like Q said. I think sometimes you don't want a guy to come in and feel maybe too entitled or it was given to him. You don't want that to be the message that circulates through the rest of the locker room. You don't want guys having kind of feelings towards that guy because he came in as the day one starter.
But don't you guys know, like, yeah, he's going to be the starter. So, like, do you even think anything of that if he's anointed the job?
You do, but there's an element of, like, being able to do the job first, too.
Yeah.
There's a group of veterans in the locker room who, when you draft a rookie quarterback, they don't want to hear that you're wasting games with him playing before he's really ready or before they even see he's ready. So there's elements of that, too, that are in play where if he can't go out there and execute and do the things you're asking him to do, he's having a hard time calling plays, he's having a hard time handling what comes along with that, then, there's going to be veterans who are like, dude, this guy's not ready. What are you doing? Like, don't put him out there yet. So they'd rather have a veteran guy who's played in the league that you're not going to go through those simple mistakes of, running the offense, getting the play call out, being able to execute the offense. Now, as far as all the extraordinary things that a rookie can do or maybe was drafted to do, those things will come out eventually. But there's still the basics and the fundamentals of just running the system and being able to call play in a huddle and break the huddle and go out there and execute it the way it's supposed to be executed. I mean, that's where you got to make sure this guy at least can do that before you throw him out there to the wolves.
And there's still something to be said about earning it. I mean, guys still feel that way. Like, earn it. Like, I don't have a problem with you being the number one draft pick and knowing that you're going to start. But I think some people look at it from the standpoint of, let's see you go through the process of earning it. And it's almost as though, or almost as like for a vet that may have had a different path to becoming a starter or becoming a respected veteran on the team, they're looking at it from the standpoint of, go through some adversity, earn it in practice, earn it in the locker room, earn it in the weight room. And so if you're a day one starter and they just named you a day one starter, it's almost like, okay, do you only have up from here, or is there only downhill from there? Like, what is it? What's the interpretation of it? I don't know, but there's something to be said about earning your job for certain.
You were the number 2 pick.
Yeah.
Did you have to earn it, or were you the starter right away?
I didn't start.
You didn't start right away?
Mm-mm. And I did special teams. I did start I did special teams.
Just laying the lumber on special teams, huh?
I mean, for the position and the body of work that they wanted me to do, they wanted me to stand over the tight end and play on the tight end. Like, I was so green, so dumb. Like, I would have never, being a number 2 pick, and I was never a diva, which is crazy because I was like kind of labeled like this brash diva.
I heard the same thing.
Yeah, right. And I was undisciplined and I didn't know my playbook and all. So many different things that was said about me coming out, and it was just kind of like a mechanism that was used to control a player that actually spoke out while he was out of school, where you didn't generally have a voice. But when I came into the league, they put me on the tight end. I never played on a tight end ever. My job was I was sideline to sideline. I could cover. Like, I was covering dudes like Santana Moss in the slots. Like, all these guys, they be talking about, oh, that's such a mismatch. You can't cover. A linebacker can't cover it. Like, that was me. I was covering. I was covering receivers. I was covering running backs. I was doing all these different things. They put me on the tight end. Like, it made no sense, but that's what they did. And they didn't start me there. And I guess the reason they didn't start me there is they put me out there, and I'm going up against blocking tight ends, and it was hard. Like, it was hard to adapt and to adjust to being on the line of scrimmage, taking on tight ends. It was quite it was a shock for me. So I didn't start immediately. No.
Wow. Well, listen, it's done in Chicago. He's a starter, and now we get to see how it plays out moving forward.
I mean, you're a Bears fan. Are you excited?
Are you talking to LaVar? Or
no, I'm talking to you.
Me?
You're talking to your ass.
I mean, look, I can't confirm nor deny any of that stuff. I'm just happy
you're
that
from Mammoth. We're Monmouth. We're Wyatt Earp is from.
Wyatt Earp, that's right. Yeah.
Monmouth. Yeah.
Western part of the state. About a 2-hour train ride to Chicago.
Yeah.
Why can't we just have an honest conversation with a Bears fan? Like, why can't you just own up to it? You're a Bears fan. You're a Celtics fan.
And either you're excited or you're not.
I mean, listen,
Are you excited? Yes or no?
I grew
You're a
up.
Penguins fan.
I grew up.
Which is weird. You're just all over the place.
It's not weird. He just likes all the front runners.
That's not true.
Oh.
That's not true. I grew up a Bears fan, but so when I was younger, I was a Bears fan. Look, when I was younger, I used to wet the bed too.